Hello, I'm Josh Hart from JTH Boxing, and today I'm going to be going over the fight between Leigh Wood and Mauricio Lara, in which Mauricio Lara stopped Leigh Wood in the 7th round to become the new WBA featherweight champion of the world. So, getting into it, obviously it wasn't the night for Leigh. He wanted to put on a show, he wanted to get the win and secure the City Ground fight that would have been next, in which would have been a massive domestic showdown between obviously himself and Josh Warrington, but that wasn't meant to be. Mauricio Lara came over from Mexico and had other plans clearly, and decided to put a left hook right through Leigh Wood's jaw and put him to sleep basically. You know, it wasn't what a lot of it was. Some people wanted it, some people didn't. Obviously, a lot of people from Nottingham, like myself, we didn't want that to happen. We did want to see Leigh get the win and get the City Ground fight 'cause we know how much he wants it. But at the same time, you know the risk you're taking in taking a fight with Lara. Lara's not one. He's a tough little bastard. He's a tough man. You can't really fuck around with him. And Leigh fucked around and found out. But the biggest talking point after the fight was obviously Ben Davison's call to stop the fight. Obviously I'm going to get into that a little bit later on. But obviously there's a lot of last night, especially straight after the fight, Ben Davison was taking a lot of slack on social media and from obviously other people who were there saying it was a bad call. But obviously, like I said, I'll talk about that more later on as we get through it. As for the fight itself, Leigh Wood was boxing a perfect game. He was boxing a perfect game plan. He was executing everything perfectly, and he had Lara hurt several times, and he just couldn't quite get him gone. But at the end of the day, it was looking good. It was looking like he was cruising his way to a points decision or even the late stoppage. But he picked one bad shot, and that one bad shot he picked put him out. You got to think the amount of times he was hurting into the body as well, and it was something that a lot of people, including myself, were saying throughout the week. If Leigh goes to the body, Lara will become less and less dangerous, which clearly wasn't true, because Lara still put his lights out after working the body. I just think maybe he wasn't working it enough. And I think as well, getting up, obviously he rushed it a little bit. But unfortunately, it was not meant to be. So, a lot of controversy surrounded Ben Davison's name after the towel throw last night. For me, personally, I thought it was the right call. I was there in the arena, and I thought it was the right call. I thought it was a perfect time to stop the fight. Leigh's legs weren't under him. He even said it, obviously, Carl Froch put out a video earlier today saying that, Leigh said himself his legs were gone. Obviously, he protested the stoppage at the time. But if you watch, even a minute or two after, he got sat down, his legs still weren't under him. And you got to think, going in against a man like Lara, who, when he sees you hurt, he'll swing for you. He doesn't come in with technique. He doesn't come in with a game plan there. When he hurts you, he will swing for the fences until you fall and you're out unconscious. And that's exactly what he would have done if Ben Davison didn't throw a towel in. Because the ref seemed to be okay to let the fight continue, which baffles me. Because you could see it the way he got up and he just stumbled across. Obviously, Tony Bellew made a few comments as well, saying, obviously, Ben Davison knew what he was getting into. But at the end of the day, he put him in that fight because he had the confidence in Leigh Wood. He's not put him in that fight with no confidence. If he had no confidence, Ben Davison's a smart enough man and a good enough friend of Leigh Wood to say, listen, this is too risky of a fight. Take a Kiko Martinez that was on the table. Take someone else that was on the table. But he believes in Leigh Wood, so they gave him the fight. And at the end of the day, Leigh Wood proved he has got it. So, obviously, Tony Bellew saying he should have let him continue and ride the storm. Yes, but no, not really. He would have got killed. Obviously, then he started comparing it to Conlon last year. But I think what you got to remember is that, Lara and Conlon are two completely different fighters. Lara has 10 times the power Conlon will ever have. Don't get me wrong, Conlon's a very, very good boxer and a better boxer than Mauricio Lara. But Lara's power is so threatening. It does not matter. Nothing else matters because if he catches you, the way I remember Lara is the way Deontay Wilder is with the heavyweights. Has to be perfect for 1 second. Lara was perfect for 1 second and got the outcome he wanted. So, realistically, if that was Conlon, Leigh Wood would have more than fucking went and weathered the storm. But no, and I thought Ben Davison was perfect. So well done to Ben Davison. So obviously the next talking point is what is next for both fighters. So I'm going to start off talking about Leigh Wood and what's next for Leigh. Obviously there's a rematch clause and he can go for the immediate rematch. Um, if I was him, I would sit back for now and let Lara and Warrington go for it, 'cause that seems to be the two front runners. It's either Wood Lara 2 or Lara Warrington 3. Um, and I just think, Leigh should sit back and just take a break for now. It wasn't like he just lost on points. He was basically unconscious. He was out on his feet. Um, I think he should just take some time off. You got to think he doesn't train in Nottingham. He doesn't train near his family. He's always up and down from Essex training with Ben Davison. I think just give him some time off to spend some time with his family, regather himself, and then decide what he actually wants next. More than likely, it will be the immediate rematch if you look at the way Leigh Wood has carried himself his entire career, especially since picking up the world title. He's proven he's got no fear. And I think that's the thing. I've not seen any Leigh Wood slander, and it's simply based on the fact that no one else would call for this fight, and no one else will ever call for a fight with Mauricio Lara. Leigh Wood is the only man I've ever seen call for a fight. Warrington's only calling for the fight because he's fought him before. No one has ever looked at Lara without fighting him and said, I want Lara. And it just shows how, what's the word? I don't know what the word is. How ballsy Leigh Wood is. And at the end of the day, we need more people in the sport like him. At the end of the day, you're in here to fight the best. The best should be fighting the best. So for Leigh Wood to then actually call him out and take that fight, fair enough. And that's why I think there's no real slander towards him. Because he was boxing the perfect fight as well. Bar round 2, he was cruising the fight. I was obviously scoring it in my head. I had it 5-1 to Leigh Wood in the 7th round. Obviously round 7 was a bit shaky. Well, clearly, he got fucking knocked out. But I just think let Lara and Warrington go for it. Obviously, it depends as well where they'll make the rematch, if it is Lara versus Wood 2. Lara said he's more than willing to come back to the UK, which I'm guessing if they're going to come to the UK, they're going to come to Nottingham. So for now, I say Leigh Wood should just sit back and decide himself. So obviously, we've discussed the man who was defeated. Now we'll discuss the man who came victorious, Mauricio Lara. I think Lara, realistically, there's so many options for him. Obviously, the ball is in Leigh Wood's court, but if Leigh Wood decides to not take the immediate rematch, obviously, Lara's got so many places he could go. Obviously, like I've said, he could go for the Josh Warrington fight, for the trilogy. He could go for a Michael Conlan. He could go for the man who recently beat Josh Warrington and Lopez. There's so many places he could go. He could take that Lopez fight looks really interesting. An all Mexican world title fight. He's just made Mexican history. Why not make a little bit more and have an all Mexican world title fight? So there's a lot of things for him to go for. Will there be a lot of people that want to fight him? Not really. Josh Warrington only wants it because he knows it's a good payday and it's a chance to redeem himself. And I think that's the thing. Josh Warrington has somehow come out better, even though he lost his last fight and lost the world title, and he's gone straight back in for another world title. It baffles me. Really, he can't complain about anything. The Warrington fight seems to be what makes the most sense, and it probably will make the most money. Obviously, they fought before. They fought twice. The first time was back in 2021 in lockdown, where Lara pulled off what was probably the upset of the year on the same night Leigh Wood won the British title. Obviously, he thumped Warrington about for fucking 9 rounds. Just completely fucking destroyed him. And that's what really sparked it all between them now. Obviously, I just think it's a stupid fight for Warrington to take, though, really. I don't see a way Warrington will win that fight. Because I think Lara would have beat him in the rematch, obviously, if Warrington decides to fucking become Harry Maguire and fucking bullet head him. But, that's Josh Warrington. He's become a bit more of a headbutter recently after losing, let himself go a little bit, really. Bless him. But it's one of those. Obviously, there's a lot more in it now. There's a hell of a lot more in it, obviously, after last night where Lara admitted to spitting on Josh Warrington, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say it's good what he's done. It is poor. It's very low to go that far spitting on someone. And I think that's what's ignited it so much more, because Lara said it was always personal, but Josh Warrington never really said anything about it being personal, and never really. He said a few bad things, yeah, but obviously now, like, you know, I saw interviews of Warrington saying he's a dirty bastard, he's a cunt, he's a dickhead, all sorts. And I think it's really fueled the fire for what would be an absolutely dramatic. I think it'd be a good fight. However, I do think it would be a good fight simply based on the fact that Lara will be hitting him with even more power and fucking spite than before. So I think Lara Warrington is another fight that Lara will win. Either way, thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, make sure to like and subscribe, and keep track of this channel, because, you know, I'm trying something here. I'm trying my best. Many thanks for watching again, and I'll catch you guys next time. Goodbye.